Hola, hola, this is your boy Tico Trend. And I'm going to talk about my problem with women in the Western world in today's society. My overall problem with women in the Western world and in today's society is they want all the glory. They want all the glory and the praise for thinking up stuff, but they don't want the backlash and responsibilities or the fallout for the ideas that they came up with. I have a problem with that because as a man, I know if I come up with an idea, if we all run with that idea, I am responsible for the fallout or any problems that come out of that idea. I understand that as a man that I'm responsible for the outcome to that idea. Let it be good and or bad or both. I am responsible for that shit. I cannot not take responsibility because it was my idea. I cannot not take responsibility for the consequences of my idea. And women seems to corner the market on this ability to come up with the worst ideas, force it down our throats, and expect us to all be okay with it when the shit is failing. Women corner the market on this. I don't know how the fuck they did it, but they did it. They come up with the worst idea, they try to enforce it, and then get mad at us because of the outcome. How is that even a fucking thing? The overall problem I have with that is, one, is if you're going to come up with these ideas and try to implement these ideas, plans, whatever the hell it is, you have to take responsibility for the outcome and consequences of these ideas and or actions that you want to implement. Until you can do that, then I will see you as an equal. Until then, I see you as a big ass child. It's that simple. And no, I'm not name calling or bashing you. That's really how I see you. As a big ass child who's throwing a temper tantrum. So even when when your idea pans out wrong, you want to blame men or say we should be more inclined to do this, or we should want to go do this, or we should do this, or we should see this. And you want to shame us by saying, well, you're sexist if you don't want to do this, or you're only doing this because a woman came up with the idea. No, we're doing this because it's a bad idea. It's that simple. We're making our decision. We base our decisions on how good the idea is, or how well the plan was implemented, or how well the idea was implemented, or how well the plan and idea was thought out, and presented. If you know what I mean. If it's not any of that, and it's just a poor idea, we're against it for that reason. It's that simple. It's not because we're sexist. It's not because we're bigot or whatever the hell you want to call us. It's because it was a dumbass idea. And I always found it funny how if another man comes up with another idea, if a man was to come up with a dumb idea, we would tell him it's a dumb idea and we would move on, or we would tell him that sounds like that could be a possibly good idea, but we need to tweak it. The irony to that is that man would say, okay, how can we tweak this? That's how men work. That's how men think. That's how men interact with the world or ideas or plans when it comes to the world and how they do things and implement things. There's a base idea generally. Then all men get a consensus on it and think of the flaws and the outcomes and the negatives and the positives to the idea. Then they go about figuring out how to tweak the idea or how to make it better or how to make it a good idea or how to make it a good plan or how to implement it properly into society or implement it properly so everybody can follow it and it can actually be a good, well thought out, well rolled out thing. Whereas women, they'll come up with an idea, not fully think it through, And if nobody wants to ride with them, instead of actually, and even if a man actually throws in an idea saying we might want to tweak this and make this better or this, that, and the other, instead of actually saying, okay, yeah, we should probably do that, you say, well, you're sexist because you don't want to do it because I came up with it and I'm a woman. No, we don't want to do it because it's poorly thought out, or it's poorly planned, or it's going to be poorly implemented and it's going to have ramifications and consequences, basically. That's the reason why we don't fully 100% back you, because of the ramifications and fallouts to your idea that's not fully or properly thought out or planned out. It's not because we're sexist. It's because we don't want to have to deal with the fallout and the consequences to that. It's one thing if we're at war and we accidentally bomb a bus or a school. We can deal with that fallout. We can just clean that up and deal with that fallout. It's another thing if we're trying to implement an idea into society and it has ramifications across many different people in the walks of life. Now we have a problem with it as men, because it's going to have poor implications or poor ramifications for different societies, different groups of people within our society. We don't like riding with things unless it's just one group of people. We tend to not like riding with ideas that have a rippling effect across a whole of society. We ain't got no problem with one portion of society being affected, but we have a problem when it actually ripples and affects multiple factions and groups in society. We have a problem with that then. But if it only affects one, we can actually overlook it. But if it affects a large majority or a large chunk of people across a bunch of walks of life, now we have a problem with it. And I've noticed what your idea is, it has a ripple effect that affects people from many walks of life. It affects too many fucking casualties in our society for us to want to ride with your idea, is the best way I can put it. So that is the reasoning behind why we're not always willing to ride with your idea. It's not because we're sexist. It's not because we hate women. It's not because we're women haters or, anything stupid like that. It's literally because the idea has negative ramifications that affects too many fucking people for our own liking. That is why we don't always want to ride with you, because your ideas affect too many fucking people for our own liking. I mean, we can do it to one group of people and feel perfectly fine about it. But what we can't do is bitch smack a lot of fucking people and be okay with it. Because, like I said, if it affects too many fucking people from too many walks of life, we internally have a problem with it. But if it only affects one group of people from one walk of life, we can ride with it. It's that fucking simple. And the faster you figure this out, the faster you learn this, the better we'll all be as a society. Think about that shit. Think before you act. Learn to take responsibility for your shit. It's that simple.